Hello and welcome to the channel. I am your host, Travieso Americano. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of those algorithmic-y things that make the channel successful. I would appreciate it. Well, the midterms are over. I hope you all had a chance to, take part in the live results show we had. We also had a discussion show yesterday. Had a few little hiccups on the technology side, but we're getting those fixed. But the midterms are, well, they're not over. They should be over. We are now on Thursday, and the election was held on Tuesday, of course. And they are still not over. And that is seeming to be becoming more and more of the expectation. It is being pushed as the expectation both by the media and by the government. This is open theft. It is open theft. That is the only explanation. You see, the elections up until the 2000s, every single election, 99% of them, nationwide, throughout the years, couple hundred years there, 99% of them we knew the night of. We knew the night of in Florida. But now, all of a sudden, we don't know in Arizona. We don't know here. We don't know there. We don't know in this election. We don't know in that election. We don't know in this year. We don't know in that year. All of a sudden, last 20 years or so, the fix is in. The fix is in. And I'm supposedly not even allowed to talk about this. Why? Why can't I talk about my elections? Why does the media continue to belittle people who simply question the elections? Why is that a thing? And why are American citizens lining up behind the government, lining up behind the people in charge of the elections, lining up behind the parties and the groups who are stealing rights, stealing elections? Yet the Americans are going, many of the American people, much of the American people, I don't know if it's a majority, but if you go to Twitter, you can see they're all lining up. All these non-player characters, all these NPCs. To say, oh no, the elections are great, because they're going their way. It's this bias. It's this bias that is absolutely absurd, and they don't understand. They don't understand that once they take my freedoms, they're coming for theirs. These people can't see 5 minutes in front of their face. They can't. Yet they're the good guys to the media. They're the good guys to the government, because they don't think. They just nod their head yes to whatever they're told. People like me, people like you, we think for ourselves, and we're attacked for it on a minute-by-minute basis. Turn on the television. If you're not being attacked on the television for your beliefs, for your speech, then you're being given a socialist sermon. It's one or the other, or both at the same time. The commercials are socialist sermons. I keep telling you, watch the commercials. Watch who makes the commercials. Watch the companies that have the globalist, socialist, leftist-leaning commercials. They're almost always made by Madison Avenue, or at least made by the big-time advertising firms in the United States, presumably, maybe throughout the world. They're almost always made by those folks, and they're always for companies, or almost always for companies, that are multinational. Every once in a while, you have an American company that's super leftist and fine, whatever. They're not what I'm talking about. They are, generally speaking, the outlier for American-based companies. All the companies that are pushing in their advertising the globalist narrative, almost all of them are multinational or want to be multinational. I told you before, Brian Moynihan went Bank of America CEO just before the pandemic, went and met secretly with the WEF. I don't know, it was secret. He had secret meetings that he didn't talk about, then he had public meetings. Let's say it that way. It's a more accurate way to say it. He had secret meetings that he didn't talk about, then he had his public meetings, public speaking, all that. That was just before the pandemic. That was just before Bank of America took a hard turn to the left. Bank of America, who desperately wants to be multinational, who desperately wants to get bigger and bigger. To the point, I mean, there are people in that company that will tell you they are repeating a lot of the mistakes that Wells Fargo made in terms of their scandal with opening fake accounts and things like that. I can't confirm that, of course, but I'm just telling you what I've been told by other people. That there's a big push on the sales and all that. Who knows? They should be being paid off by the WEF, right? They need accounts that badly. Why close Kanye's? You know? I don't even care about Kanye. I wouldn't say I'm a Kanye supporter. I think he should have the right to have his opinion, though. He should have the right to have his free speech without being attacked by these corporate entities. Why can't Kanye say what he wants to say? Anyway, here in Arizona, the fix is in. But I'm not sure Arizona is what they want. I feel like Arizona is the red herring. I feel like Arizona is what whatever entity, whomever's in control of this mess, because someone's in control. Again, this didn't happen until the 2000s, and now it happens every single cycle, and that has been growing. It started with Bush v. Gore, and when they saw what happened there, they began experimenting. That's what happened. We didn't know that at the time, of course, and now all of a sudden, every single election cycle, they just can't count the ballots. That is complete nonsense. I mean, what happened in Maricopa County is illegal. That entire election should be done again. If you can keep the polls open in some states, but then you close them in Arizona, it has to be across the board. We all get the same rights, right? No, we don't. We don't get the same rights. Of course we don't. Of course we don't get the same rights. But my fear with Arizona is that they are doing things elsewhere. That there's cheating going on elsewhere. Now I don't know if that's manipulating how many House Republicans there are going to be. I don't know if that's just manipulating the narrative. Certainly delaying the vote counts allows the mainstream media and their corporate communist government partners the ability to manipulate the narrative. It also gives them the ability, of course, to choose who they want. We don't have chain of custody. We can't demand it. We don't have journalists that look into it. A private citizen has to do it themselves. And even if they do, even if private citizens do, a lot of times they are the target of people like the DOJ because we're conservative. Project Veritas. There is a gentleman, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who reported on Planned Parenthood. Did everything that reporters always do, secret tapes, all that, recorded them. Everything was legitimate, everything was real. He's in jail facing felonies. But if you're on the left, of course, that doesn't happen to you. You're lauded, you're clapped, because we don't have rule of law in the United States. We don't have rule of law in the United States. It's obvious. It's obvious. What happened in Arizona is beyond illegal. It's beyond illegal. What's happening countrywide is beyond illegal. We don't have votes. We have politicians whose spouses own the voting machines. In a country that regulates professionals to such a degree, financial professionals, if you're a financial advisor, a stockbroker, my lord, the things you can and cannot do with your own money is absurd. The things you have to go through, the amount of oversight you have, it's crazy. I've been through it, I know. I mean, it's not awful. I think it does protect people. I think there's a reason for it. I'm not gonna. I didn't find it. I found it vexing, but I didn't find it overly vexing. We'll say. I thought it was probably proper, based on the job. They can regulate lawyers. I was a lawyer. They can regulate bank workers. Bank workers, tellers, without a college education. There's more oversight over them than there are congressional leaders and their spouses. It's true. It's absolutely true. Especially in the financial industry. Even like I said, teller jobs, there's more oversight over them about what they can and cannot do. And here we are, day after election, and being told, oh, it's going to take days. It's not going to take days. There's no reason it takes days. The only reason it takes days is to create the narrative, push the narrative, which Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they jumped at. That they made this claim that all these Trump endorsed people didn't win. It was like, I don't know, 9 didn't win. 9 didn't win and 170 did. They left that out. 150, I forget what the number is. It's a lot. Triple digits anyway. Single digit losses, triple digit wins. I said this yesterday, and I have no idea if this is the case, but they're trying to get Trump out. They're trying to push Trump out. The mainstream media, the same people that are taking away your rights are trying to tell you that Trump is at fault for something. But first off, we don't even know who won or lost. So how can anyone be at fault? I said that yesterday. We don't know who won or lost. Because they're still trying to create the narrative. So how can they possibly say anything's anyone's fault? Now there's also been these what are they called, roll and drive or whatever they are, where they drop off the ballots. That happened in Pennsylvania. It's probably happened in other places where we haven't seen. And like I said, I don't know if Arizona is the red herring to keep our eyes there and keep our eyes off of somewhere else. I don't know. But it's interesting. Of course we want Arizona. I mean, Arizona should be forced to completely redo the election. There's nothing wrong with that. Democrats hate that. What's wrong with that? Make sure everything's free and fair. Just redo it. In fact, every time an election goes beyond midnight, we ought to, in terms of counting, scuttle it. Scuttle it, do it again. If the counters can't get it right, we'll just keep voting until they can. But of course, we don't have that right in the United States anymore. You can't even complain about the election process. You're called a denier. You're called a denier. You're called a bigot. You're called a bigot because you want someone to have an ID at the election box. You're called a bigot just for wanting any election information whatsoever. They have now connected bigotry to your demand to have your vote counted properly. Having your vote counted properly is bigotry to them. That should tell you everything you need to know. Having your vote counted properly is bigotry to the left. Obviously, it's not. Any reasonable person would see through that. But that's the way they act. That's the way their narrative goes. That's the way they treat people. The fix is in. The fix is in. The media's on that, is in on it. The corporations are in on it. And the government's in on it. And we can yell and scream all we want. And we should. We have to. I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't at all. We need to yell and scream. But we also have to understand we're not going to win today. We're not going to win tomorrow. We're not going to win this cycle in terms of fixing the elections, fixing our rights. We're not going to win. This is going to be a protracted battle. It already has been. They have a huge lead on us, the leftists, the socialists. They were doing things behind the scenes when we didn't know it. And now they are reaping the benefits of their ill-gotten deceit. But they have the dummies on their side. We're the intelligent ones. So not all is lost. We don't need to be black-pilled here. Keep taking that red pill. We're the smart ones. We're the good ones. The conservatives have always been the ones that have saved the country, and we will do it again. We'll do it again. We will fix the voting. We will fix the speech. We will fix the deep state, but it's going to take time. Time and effort from all of us. In any case, thanks for watching, everyone. I know this went a little long. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.